And let me pull this up. So this is basically Logan Paul. That's crazy that they were able to fucking, man, like, I'm actually mad at Logan Paul for this. Because, like, he had his drink called Prime. I remember whenever we were going to do OTK, and we actually were thinking about, instead of it being called OTK, we were actually going to call it Prime Gaming. Or Prime or something like that. And then we had a legal firm that we consulted about this, and they said, have you guys ever heard of Amazon Prime? And we were like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you're not going to do Prime. Just trust us. It's a bad idea. How the fuck did he get it? How the fuck did he do this? I'm so pissed, man. Yeah, this was our idea. All right, let's go.
Lot to cover this episode of Impulsive. If you are tuning in just now and you missed the tail end of December,
we did not miss it.
A lot had happened. I believe the last Boys Only episode we were on, I said some pretty harsh things to George about his beliefs.
I don't even know who the fuck George is. Like, is this Curious George? George Washington? Is this guy George? Who is George?
And religion overall that people were unhappy about. And the following week, a YouTuber named CoffeeZilla made a 3-part series.
So wait a second. Logan Paul went and dissed God, and then the next day or the next week, this video comes out that destroys him? Damn, bro, that's some Old Testament shit. He used to do that all the time. God used to. Yeah.
That he had spent a year making.
Okay.
Called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam.
God's a real one.
Caught a lot of traction. He put a lot of work into it, and it was a very well-made series. So today I'll be going on record for the first time in
what about the last video you did? Is that not on record? Okay,
over
let's
a
go.
year to talk about the debacle that came.
Debacle, I like that.
And then what we're doing to move forward. If you have not seen the video that I also released in tandem today with this episode, it's essentially a statement that I made about the scam allegations and the scam accusations, because that's some pretty serious shit. I take that very seriously. So if you have not watched that video, I ask you to do that first.
I don't know why it's so hard that like, I mean, for example, like he went and he said that the eggs were going to hatch and the eggs don't hatch. Like, I mean, like, why are we really talking about it beyond that? Because, like, to me, it's like, because you said it was going to do this thing, it doesn't do it. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a scam. You know what I mean? Like, I mean...
It is a little difficult to dive into it because we know you guys watch Impulsive for fun, laughs, giggles, maybe like the guests we have on our show. And today we're going to be talking about some pretty serious stuff. So if you're not tuned into it, maybe this isn't the episode for you, but it's time this stuff is addressed, and today's the episode for that.
I think
you know who I really feel bad for here? Mike. Because, like, in every single time that Logan Paul has brought this up, Mike has been like, yeah, I don't really know about this shit, but, I mean, you know, Logan's my boy, so we'll see what happens, right? But, like, he's just now he's got to fucking sit here, and he's going to be on the camera, and everybody fucking hates him, too, because of Logan. You know, Mike, he didn't really do anything, you know?
I think by mid-episode, we'll get into some other stuff, but obviously, like,
yeah, see, exactly.
Handled, and it's been a rocky end of 2022 and a rocky start for the beginning of 2023. I'm sure tremendously for you, but
I feel
also
like it's
for
low.
Anybody on this team. I'm gonna try to take the reins of the opposing viewpoint today, as I generally do on the show. I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions that may be, I don't know, easy, hard to answer, whatever.
Yeah, see, Mike doesn't want to fucking be involved with this shit. Like, I guarantee you, like, he probably told Logan this was stupid before it even happened. So he finally gets a chance to fucking, like, yeah, he doesn't want to deal with this.
Obviously, you asked Coffee to be on.
He has no hard questions. Okay, well,
can I give context to this situation? So, yeah, first off, I don't know what you're going to ask. I haven't seen these questions.
Sure. I know.
Did you send them to him? You sent them to him. And then I'm sure probably maybe you have some. Anyways, let me give some context to this situation. CryptoZoo is a blockchain project that I created about a year and a half ago.
Well,
and the question everyone's going to be asking is why now? Why talk about this series or this project right now?
Well, because he just got exposed that it was a huge scam and everybody's mad about it. I mean, like, why are we really gonna? Well, I mean, we're really gonna beat around the bush here? Come on, that's why.
So again, this YouTuber named CoffeeZilla released a 3-part series. He spent a year making it, and I'll be honest, it was very good. He is entertaining, and he's a very good storyteller.
I agree.
Mean, essentially, if you're making content on YouTube, I assume it's to get views and to get people watching your stuff. I get what he's doing. If you put my name,
if you
name in the title and you label it Logan Paul scam, you're going to get more views.
Well, I mean, I don't think that he would really get more views if it wasn't a scam, though. Like, if Logan Paul wasn't scamming people, everybody would be talking shit about CoffeeZilla. It's not like all you have to do is say Logan Paul is a scammer and everybody's going to believe it. Because you got to think in mind, I mean, he spent a whole year on this. There's a lot of evidence for it. I mean, like, you know, you think of it from the viewer's perspective. If I was a viewer and I watched that 3-part series, I would, at the end of it, think Logan Paul was a scammer.
Problem with it is that is not true. And I've made tweets here and there stating my case, but I'm going to give some context with the back and forth that I've had with CoffeeZilla. So here are some receipts. Again, just for context. His name's Steven. The first time he reached out to me was on Christmas Eve after he released his series.
That's not true. As we saw before, CoffeeZilla had posted a screenshot of him contacting Logan Paul in late 2021. So that's not true.
He sent a misleading email as highlighted in my statement. He invited me on his show to come talk about CryptoZoo. I chose not to do that because it is now clear to me that he's milking this. Again, why would he not? This is big for him. He caught a lot of traction. He gained like 500,000 subscribers, and I'm sure he got a decent amount of money pumping his Patreon. But I am not interested in feeding into that anymore. So we'll be answering the questions that hopefully he was going to ask me.
You do kind of feed into it because, right, I mean, he's going to address what you're going to say, and then you're going to address what he addressed with what you said. I mean, everybody's feeding into this. I mean, I understand that this might, you know, sound like, oh, I'm being the bigger man or something like that, but this is a circle jerk, okay? Like, I could guarantee you probably this episode is monetized. His videos are monetized. Everybody here is making money. There's no one who's trying to do a public service here. Let's just be honest.
And that you're going to ask me today on this podcast. I invited him on Impulsive multiple times, and he has not responded. My email to him on December 27th was, hey, Steven, saw your tweet. Since this entire narrative has unfolded on your platform, I can't imagine you'd mind having this discussion with me on mine. Of course, we wouldn't monetize. This episode of Impulsive is scheduled for January 2nd in LA. We can consider a neutral location if you respond to this email by the weekend. Best logs.
I don't think that is unreasonable for him to say. Like, that's not really that big of a deal.
He did not respond to me. So I tweeted that, saying I hadn't heard back, so I'd be releasing a statement. And then he sent me an email after I called him out and a text, which I thought was weird, like a cold text.
Okay.
Hey, Logan, recently got your number. This is CoffeeZilla. I'm forwarding the same message I sent to your email here as well.
Capzilla? Look at that. That's the first fucking thing I went and I saw. Oh my God. Capzilla.
Hey, Logan, I saw your tweet saying I haven't responded, but that isn't accurate. I asked you for a comment multiple times over the course of a year. You refused. I invited you on my platform. You refused. You invited me on Impulsive. I refused. We're unfortunately at an impasse, so let me try to get us unstuck here because I think people deserve to hear from both of us.
Okay.
I'd like to offer you a co-live streamed interview about CryptoZoo to respond on tomorrow at 10 a.m. PST, so no one has to travel on the holidays. So there's no editing and just us talking one-on-one. This is the most fair and neutral way to do this. I will send you a video link if you agree. here was my response. I sent him an email.
Okay.
After I posted my statement. Hey, Steven, just wanted to put my response to your scam allegations on your radar, linked below. Even though you broke laws, hardly substantiated your evidence, fabricated dangerously misleading falsehoods, and wrongfully accused me of scamming my fans, I'd still love to host you on Impulsive, again, unmonetized. It can even be one-on-one. Sorry, boys. I'm interested in talking about your workflow, creative process, and of course, CryptoZoo. I did get your email 2 days ago after I called out your failure to respond on Twitter regarding the live stream invitation, and you said, I asked you for comment multiple times over the course of a year. You refused. Any proof of that, or is this another lie? I searched my emails and didn't see any.
What he's referring to whenever he says that CoffeeZilla broke laws is that Logan Paul is under the impression, I don't know if this is true or not because I don't know what the laws are, that because he recorded somebody in California, and in California you have to tell somebody that you're recording them, that whenever CoffeeZilla recorded his manager without the manager knowing and without the manager's consent, that CoffeeZilla broke a law. I'm not saying that this is true or not. This is what Logan Paul thinks CoffeeZilla broke the law of. That's all.
Any outreach from you until Christmas Eve 2022. You scrubbed the blockchain for a living and somehow managed to text my personal phone number yesterday. I can't imagine you didn't know / have my professional email. I do agree people deserve to hear from both of us, but truthfully, now that your motives are clear, I don't feel like feeding into your hunger for clout on your platforms. You've profited off of and gained plenty from me. I've said everything I've needed to say. The rest will be handled legally and on Impulsive with or without you while we continue to build CryptoZoo. The holiday
This is not an emoji of a hatching egg. It's just an egg. Always has been, and seemingly always will be.
Holidays are over, so I look forward to hearing back in a timely fashion this time. My January schedule is packed. Best logs.
Why did you sign off as logs, by the way? There was a lot of shit for that.
I saw that. Maybe, I think it's easy to pick apart anything I do.
And people are, for sure.
I don't really give a fuck what he signed off as. Like, it's like, so this is what he said. Like, give me a minute. Like, best, he says his name's Logs. I mean, I think that sounds stupid, but like, I mean, who gives a fuck? Like, I mean, if that's the thing that you're getting attached to, that's what you're thinking about, like, why?
It's been happening.
I mean, that's my sign off. I've been signing off like that since high school.
Like
my nickname,
like
everyone calls me Logs.
Then be Logs.
My name is Logan. Yeah. My nickname is Logs.
Listen, I said I'm going to play the other side. The other side's asking why Logs. Okay. Can we, besides all the correspondence, that's a lot of correspondence.
That's where we left off, and I do think it's important because, and if you watch my video, hopefully you're seeing this. The guy is good. He is a very good storyteller, and he is.
So what he's doing here, Logan Paul, is basically playing into. So this is actually a pretty good way of doing this. So Logan Paul is saying that CoffeeZilla is great at telling stories, which means that CoffeeZilla obviously is misleading people with his stories. So he's giving him props for something that implies that he's a liar. This is a clever technique of messaging. I like this. We'll see where this goes.
Very, very manipulative. Very manipulative. And he's good. He's built an entire career off it. Sometimes he's more impartial than not. I think he probably has an inherent bias against me, which is reflective.
It's a bias against Logan Paul. I would say that there are a lot of people that don't like Logan Paul. I think so, absolutely. And even whenever Logan and Jake Paul were just assholes on YouTube, a lot of people, I think, dislike them irrationally. They were acting like these people were the worst people in the world when actually they're just two douchebags on YouTube. It's not that big of a deal. So that's fine, whatever.
In his work, in his piece.
No, it's before that.
Which unfortunately,
nobody ever liked them.
Has repercussions. If you are perpetuating falsehood and it's affecting someone's business and reputation, and it's affecting the wrong person's business and reputation, that person may take action.
So let's right off the bat, as early as possible here, talk about the two definitions and the two things that are at play. One of them being a scam, the other one being defamation, which can be libel or slander. So if someone scams a person or an organization, they deceive them in order to get something valuable for them, especially money. That is the definition of scam. So my first question, and this question was answered in his series, it was a 5-second blip that was a part of a probably hour-long of documentary, filmmaking, was how much money did you make off the sale of the coin? Or off CryptoZoo as a project? How much money did you make?
Yeah, this seems to be the biggest misconception, and it is disappointing that part was glossed over.
He's going to say $0
so quickly. Made no money.
Okay, yes, of course. So basically, that is true. That is a technically true statement that Logan Paul can make. However, I do think that it was deceptive in multiple ways. Number one, you were selling a product that does not work. Number two, you also were buying the different types of these currencies before they were released to the public. So you were intentionally trying to reserve a large amount of these coins for yourself. Now, why would you invest over $100,000 ahead of time in order to do that? Well, you would do that because you're going to make money off of it. Just because you haven't sold it yet doesn't mean that you're not going to.
Off CryptoZoo, never sold the token. Jeff never sold the token.
You did buy it, though, before it went public. And it was even stated that you bought it before it went public. And then one of the first things that happened was Crypto King also bought more of the shares because you cut him out of being able to have immediate vesting into it. And then he bought into it on other accounts. Then you got mad at him and didn't invite him to the second round. So there clearly was, there was foul play on this at the very beginning before it even hit the public eye.
Only lost money trying to make things right, along with everyone else in the project. But
the only time that Logan Paul lost money was whenever he originally invested into the project, which you would call as an investment, and then also whenever those guys held the work hostage. They say it's because Logan Paul didn't pay them. Logan Paul said it's because they're assholes. It's very hard to know what's actually true here.
No money was made. No tokens were sold. And CoffeeZilla even said that in his series. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, yeah, no money was made by Jeff or I.
And
yeah, okay. Well, then there we go. Somebody says he didn't buy before release. They stealth launched, technically bought after launch. What did I say? I said released to the public. Is a stealth launch a release to the public? No, it's not. I will usually use the words in a way that I intend them to be interpreted. It technically is, but it is not. And the reason why the first thing happened and why they didn't give... See, what you've got to remember, I remember all this shit. Is like, so what happened was that they did the stealth launch and they were going to buy a bunch of the coins, but then a bunch of other accounts bought the coins too. So then Crypto King was accused of buying them, and then he said back to that, oh no, that wasn't me, it was just a bunch of other bots. But because they didn't trust him, whenever the actual coin, the secondary coin that was allocated based off of the shares of the first coin was released, Crypto King was not included in those early vestings. And then that made him even more mad, and that's whenever he said that Logan Paul was a scammer. But Logan Paul was a scammer because he realized that Crypto King was trying to scam him, so Logan Paul scammed Crypto King. That's what it was.
Just back to the flip side really quick. To me, once I heard that seemed just like a kill shot to this entire thing.
Now I'll play the other.
So that he didn't make any money. So Logan Paul did not make any money, so it's a kill shot, and it doesn't matter at all. I do think that it is substantial, and it is a relatively good defense. The truth is, it is a relatively good defense to say that I didn't make any money off of this. Like, obviously, it would have been better if he just explained how the person was wrong, but yeah, sure.
Side.
Sure, and I know what you're going to say. There's a ton more. It's very complex. There's a lot of
no. I empathize. I totally totally see why people are frustrated. I'm fucking frustrated. I've been frustrated for over a year. So I'll let you keep going. And again, while we made no money on the project, which I think kills the scam narrative immediately,
I don't really think that it kills the scam narrative. I do think that it is probably Logan Paul's best defense, however. So saying that I didn't scam people because I didn't make any money, that is a relatively good face value defense. However, the reason why he didn't scam people and he didn't make any money is because the coin never actually achieved its intended value. So he's probably put this project on the back burner anyway. It's been filled up with drama. So just because he hasn't sold yet doesn't mean that he's not going to. Why would you sell your coins that you've invested $1 million into at a low price? You're going to wait until you can sell them at a premium and make as much money as possible. So that's why he hasn't sold yet. It's because the project isn't finished.
There is more explaining to do.
What was your intent with CryptoZoo as a project?
I really thought it was going to be the next big thing. It was my first foray into creating a project on the blockchain. My intent was
Why would you think that, though? Because, like, I mean, really, if you look at every single other project on the blockchain, even Bored Apes and a lot of these other NFTs, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't see as many of them nowadays. They're already dying. Nobody gives a shit about this stuff anymore at all. Why are you continuing to push it?
To make the next Pokemon, essentially, you know, on the blockchain.
I don't think Logan Paul is this dumb. I actually don't. Logan Paul used to play WoW. He played Wrath of the Lich King. He played a gnome mage. I remember him talking to, I think, fucking Aiden Ross about this. I don't think he's this dumb. Honestly. I feel like the reason why he did it is he did it to make a good amount of money. The project itself is just simply not very good. Pokemon's appeal is completely different than this appeal. Like, here's a really good way to look at it. If you thought it was going to be the next Pokemon, why didn't you just release it as a game instead of something as a blockchain item? It's because it's not. Like, if this game was not on the blockchain, literally nobody would play it. Because it's a bad game. Games are not bad because they're on the blockchain, but games are not good because they are on the blockchain.
It was
two separate things.
It was purely good. I put 7 months of my time, energy, effort, all of it into this project.
I think that there is a good chance that Logan Paul believes at least most of what he is saying here. I do. I think that there is at least most of what he is saying. He does believe it. He does think, actually, you know what? I was trying to do this. I was trying to help people, and, you know, it did a bad thing. Sure. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying that I think that he believes what he's saying here.
When shit hit the fan, it was devastating. It was heartbreaking. I never acted with malintention. I mean, again, like what was the intent to make money? I mean, I guess maybe eventually, like if you're running a business.
Yeah, there we go. Right. Okay. So of course, right. That's always the intent. Eventually you're going to make the money. And then you see what he says with eventually, because that is what the eventual goal is. So yeah, duh. He wants it to go well, because if it doesn't go well, he's not going to make any money.
Too many intent is to make money off of it, but like, did we ever capitalize financially off of this? Absolutely fucking not.
I also think that another side issue with this is that the fact Logan Paul is going on this podcast to talk about it is, I think, very strong evidence that he has no real intentions of seeking any sort of like legal repercussions. Because any lawyer and any person and anyone that has a brain, even you guys know that you're not supposed to go on and make a bunch of statements and talk about this stuff for a long time whenever, you know, it's not at court. So the fact that he's going around doing this, SBF, yeah, but the lawyers were furious at him. Maybe they're furious at Logan Paul too, sure. But I don't know. It's hard to say. But either way, I do think that the fact that he's so open about talking about this makes me think that he's actually not serious about suing CoffeeZilla. It's just a threat.
For people that aren't aware, can you describe the dynamic between the token and the game?
Okay. So the idea was this. Yeah, maybe I should give some context to what the game is. Okay. So you buy these eggs on the blockchain,
right,
and you can hatch them.
Okay. All right. So that didn't happen. Let's just stop right there. Okay. So, yeah. Basically, that's kind of like, I mean, that is, I hope Mike asks them about, like, so how long were people able to hatch the eggs? Can they hatch them right now? Like, what's going on?
Into what are called base animals.
Right.
I think there were like 14 or 15 of them. And then you can breed your base animals with each other to create fun-looking viral hybrid offspring that have a rarity scale. When you, if you hatch a rare animal and you breed it with another rare animal, and it yields a rare hybrid animal, that animal then yields and collects a token the longer you hold it. Then when you release it into the wild, you accrue your yield. Does that make sense? That was the concept.
Got it.
And it was based off the idea that...
Why would anybody do this? Like, what? I don't understand. Why would anybody... How is this a great game? When does Ash just... Oh, here you go. Go away, Pikachu. Oh, go away, Charmander. You're just gonna... Oh, there he goes. Like, it doesn't even make any fucking sense.
People could create these fun animals that didn't exist.
It's a crypto gotcha. Yeah, you're right.
This was another part of CryptoZoo that got ripped apart. People seem to really discount the art, which I felt truthfully wasn't fair.
It was fucking horrible, man. It just sucked. The reason why, like, what you should have done, honestly, all Logan Paul really needed to do is just do AI art. Do a million fucking inputs into fucking Midsummer or I forgot even what it's called. Midjourney, there you go. Into Midjourney of cat elephant and pick one of those out. Photoshopping two different things together, there's no style to it. There's no artistic flair to it in the same way that Pokemon exists. This is just such a bad idea.
I was kind of in the middle on that one. It was very...
It sucked. Mike, it sucked. Come on, just be honest.
You know how,
okay,
do you
it was
know how
very
hard
basic.
It is?
Thank you. Thank you. At least we get that out of him.
Yes, I
know.
know.
You know how hard it is
to
merge animals that do exist into an animal that doesn't exist and make it look like a real animal?
It's not that hard, because if it was, then every video game wouldn't be able to do it. Guaranteed. I bet it's not. I bet it's pretty hard for Logan Paul, because he might not be an artist. It would be very hard for me too. But I can pretty much guarantee that somebody out there can figure it out.
I'll just say it right now, bro. If you take an animal from CryptoZoo and like a fucking picture of a monkey wearing a hat and go ask like someone on the street, like, hey, which of these is more captivating to you? Something tells me the animal that doesn't exist that looks like a real hybrid animal is probably gonna win.
Well, it's not about really, because like Pokemon doesn't just have monkeys though with a hat on. I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, they have like, these are like, and again, of course, some random ass fucking animal that's photoshopped together is going to be more interesting because nobody's ever seen that before. It's about the way the art is presented.
Even if someone out there is skeptical or hesitant to call it some sort of insane artistic expression, they at least probably have to agree that it falls within industry, like in the area of industry standards for NFTs at the time. I mean, look at some of the other projects. I mean.
So basically, what Mike is saying in a very roundabout way is that the art for these CryptoZoo things were literal trash because they fell within the standard of traditional NFT projects at the time. And everybody knows that every single NFT project had shitty art.
Shout out Gary, but like, dude, like.
How dare you?
I'm just saying, bro.
Fucking insult VeeFriends
or Doodles or whatever. I mean, whatever project you want to bring up.
That's
right
why
now, whether it's apes or whatever.
That's why I found this argument a little. I felt wasn't quite fair.
It was so bad, man. Like, that's, I think, the worst part. Is like, if the art was good for the pictures, I think it would be kind of cool. But the art was fucking terrible. Why are we even pretending here? It's so bad. Show it. Let me see if I can find some. CryptoZoo art. Let me see if I can find some of the images here. Oh, fuck. Logan Paul, maybe? Man. I don't know if I'll find this one here. Okay, yeah. Here we go. I'll give you guys, this is the first one that you guys can see. There we go. It's just weird. Like, the art would, no, I'm not joking around or anything like this. Like, it just wasn't very good. Like, if you look at this objectively, the art wasn't good. At least I don't think it was.
I'll listen to them, but like, man, if you were to interview and ask my artist what they thought of people just ripping their work to shreds, and by the way, some of them do this, some of them are like post actively on Reddit hybrid animals, and the hybrid animals thread on Reddit is hilarious and has a bunch of likes and people commenting on it. But the moment that I say it's something that I'm doing, it doesn't work in that context.
I think it was shiny.
Well, you probably should have just taken them from the thread. They would have been better. So, number one, that's the first thing. Number two, it's just, like, you don't want to play a game with those animals, though. It's not a good stylized version. Like, every single one of these collection things, whether it's NFT projects, whether it's Pokemon, Digimon, let's see, like Magic the Gathering, like any of these other things that have, like, collectibles, all of them are stylized. Every single one. None of them are photoshopped real images. Why? Because it's fucking weird.
In a
Yu-Gi-Oh,
bad light. I think if it didn't have the negative outline on it, people wouldn't.
No.
That
was the
so
first.
Logan Paul, what he's saying here is that the only reason why people didn't like it is because he was doing it, and because there were threads that were upvoted on Reddit of hybrid animals. That means that it's a cool idea.
Critique that happened.
Sure.
I actually have I want to ask you something. Again, I'm just throwing out other people's point of views. I'm not trying to stick a.
No, you should.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stick it into you. When I'm looking at this from my point of view, bro, I think you guys are kind of like, you're seeing it from your guys' point of view, which is obvious because.
And also, I want to say too, Logan Paul said that they would be hand drawn. This was clearly and explicitly stated. And this was not the case.
Your point of view, and you are not a
Handmade.
scammer. You don't hurt people. You don't do these type of things. So it's gonna affect your heart because you didn't do that. And for the world to look at you in that type of way, it's very drowning. It feels like you can't breathe because people are already painting you out to be something you're not. But put a pin in that. Over here are people.
I feel like whenever, because there have been a lot of cases where something comes out and everybody's really mad at someone, and what the public believes isn't really true. But what I've learned is that over time, public opinion shifts to what actually happened and what's really true. Because yes, you like this guy, I don't know who this is, but he's completely right that like it can be really annoying whenever some big public event happens and then everybody thinks, oh my God, I can't believe this thing happened, and they're really mad at this person even though it didn't happen. But over time, the people that actually know about it, you know, let the facts be known, and then after a period of time, people come around to what the actual truth is. More often than not. Not every time.
That root for you, that look at you like somebody they want to be like, they want to achieve like. And so when they invested in your project, and they're remember, they don't have our lifestyle, so they're working paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. So when they go, fuck yeah, Logan's involved in this, I know it's going to win because I've watched this guy win, and I want to be like this fucking guy. So I'm going to invest my hard-earned money. From their point of view, I get your guys' point of view because you're dealing with a legal team, you're dealing with all the people that did you wrong. But from their stance, they go, how dare you go and open up 2 other projects when I just wasted my hard-earned money on something that I believed you would do. So this is a point of view that they don't care what you feel like and what CoffeeZilla feels like. They want to demand answers for their own money.
100%.
That's actually a really good point. Like this guy's actually bringing up a really, really good point. I'm curious to see what Logan Paul is going to say about this.
So what do you say to the people that watched you make the project where you're taking pictures and all the other projects? Yeah. How does it feel for you in your seat where your team's saying, hey, shut up, don't bring this up, we're going to bring this back in the future and all the answers will be explained? How does it feel knowing that you couldn't speak up in time and now you look like this villain, and no disrespect, you look like a piece of shit to the people that are like, yo, fuck this guy sitting on millions of dollars, always trying to get attention, and now he doesn't give a fuck about us, so he's not going to speak out about it until this other fucking dude's going to speak out, and now this cocksucker is going to talk now?
Great question.
It sure is. Oh my fucking God. What a great question. Now, you have to understand that this dude structured it in a way that he's not asking Logan Paul, like, how do you respond to that? He asked them, how does it make you feel? So it's actually not, he's not even asking him, can you please, you know, like, fucking address these concerns? It's more that, how does it make you feel whenever people are mad at you for this reason?
Very good question.
The answer is fucking heartbreaking, George. I'll get emotional even speaking about it right now, but this is what broke me.
Yeah.
People relied on me to create a project.
Well, why don't you just give them their money back? I mean, I don't know why this is so hard, because like if people don't like it, why can't they just get their money back somehow? Like, cause where'd the money go? I mean, it's got to be somewhere, right? I mean, it's like, what do you mean?
And when shit wasn't working out and I found out the extent of just how bad things were behind the scenes, I had to rely on my team. I crumbled internally, and the advice was, while actual legal process was going on because of criminal investigation taking place that CoffeeZilla highlighted in his series.
Well, I think that part is true. As I said, Logan Paul hired the Suicide Squad to make this NFT project. So yeah, everybody on his team was a complete criminal, scam artist, clown, notorious, fiend. Absolutely.
I had to stay silent. And for a fucking year, I'm hounding Jeff. How do we make this right? What's the status of the game?
But they don't see that. They don't see that. That's crazy.
And I think this part is actually true, because Logan Paul, you have to look at it from his perspective. Logan Paul doesn't want this to affect his brand negatively. And it does seem like the other people on his team did fuck him. They absolutely did. Because like you have to look at it from his perspective, right? So like the scam didn't happen. He didn't make any fucking money. He spent $1 million. Now all these people are mad at him. It makes perfect sense that Logan Paul is pissed off that the game didn't go the right way. Sure.
Crazy. The engineer stole the code. who was hired by a
because he was not paid, allegedly.
Fucking con man, a guy that I found out to be a con man, a guy that I had.
There was information that he was a con man. He's talking about Eddie Ibanez. It was already known that he was a con man. However, I will give Logan Paul a pass on this. Logan Paul saw that this guy worked with other people that are like billionaires. He thought that it was okay. It was obviously a bad decision, but I would say out of all the bad decisions he made, this is not the worst one.
Trusted, not just a guy that I had trusted, a guy that billionaires had trusted.
Yeah.
A guy that fooled them.
And I can see how somebody would think this. Sure.
Mormon Church and the New York Yankees. And now in hindsight, 1 + 1 = fucking 2. I get that. And the advisor, again, that I trusted was selling against my buyers, people that actually wanted to play this game. It was like
Whoa, wait, hold on.
It was like my advisor, again, that I trusted was selling against my buyer.
I think that's crypto. So he's talking right now about Crypto King, and he was selling. That's whenever he sold $6 million worth of it.
Buyers, people that actually wanted to play this game. It was like a mountain. It was like a mountain that collapsed one after the other after the other.
And keep in mind, the reason why the guy sold, Crypto King sold, is because Logan Paul didn't cut him in, even though he cut everybody else in.
Massive forest fire would come up. I thought we put it out, and then something else would happen, and something else would happen, and then my legal team goes, "Yo, there is criminal."
What's the same size and shape of a mountain? A pyramid.
This would happen, and something else would happen, and then my legal team goes, "Yo, there is criminal investigation going on. It is best to stay silent at this moment."
Mm. So I have another question. I understand your point of view because I'm your friend. I actually was with you when you found.
It's hard for me to think that's true whenever you're talking about it now.
Out, and I saw how like your face turned white and you slid up against the fridge when you found out. I was there, so that's why I could boldly with my chest out be like, bro, I watched when this guy found the news.
Okay.
But fuck CoffeeZilla, fuck you. No joke. What do we do for the people that were fucked?
I and my team, Jeff, and I'd like you to sit in, Jeff, are working. We are at work and have been working to make this game, and that's part of the solution. Deliver.
And that has to be the solution for them, because you've got to keep in mind there is never going to be an opportunity where these people get their money back. Nobody is getting their money back. No refunds, nothing. It's not going to happen. So unless they have to make the game in order to avoid getting sued by the people who got scammed. So that's why they have to make the game. This is not something, even if Logan Paul didn't want to do this, he would have to do this.
The fucking project, right? And that's never stopped. There have been massive road bumps and massive obstacles along the way. But that was always the prerogative. CoffeeZilla making a series or not, the game is being made. He just assumed we gave up on it, which is not true.
Yeah, it will be made in 2023 or 2024, which could be 23 months from now.
However, the answer is yes, George. I'm not a fucking scammer. I have the best intentions, and I will make this right for the people who believed in me. You know how adamant I was about fixing all of this and making this right.
Sure. And I think that all of this could be true. It's hard to say, but what I'm really trying to get at here is that this is his manager, Jeff, by the way. This is the guy on the phone call that CoffeeZilla recorded. So all of this could be true, and as I said, he has to finish the game, because if he doesn't, then he's liable for fraud.
And for a year, I was told I couldn't say anything. And then CoffeeZilla series came out, and I fucking called you guys, and I said, I'm making a statement. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I spent days writing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Days writing this thing, figuring out how I could, poke the obvious holes in CoffeeZilla's defamation.
I don't know, really, were there any obvious holes? I think the only obvious hole was whenever CoffeeZilla didn't say that, who was it? Zach, whatever the fuck his name was a registered felon. But he was a registered felon because he had robbed an liquor store with a gun. I mean, it's not really the same thing as doing an NFT scam. So it's like, I'm trying to think of like any other holes that, Logan Paul also said that that Jeff, that's this guy here, his manager was recorded without Jeff's consent, which was against the law, which is not really a hole. It's just this is a counter argument.
And arguments and manipulation.
A felon will always be a felon. I disagree with that. Felonies are just a different type of law that's agreed upon by a bunch of old guys that don't know how to use the internet. I think that if somebody is always going to be a felon, well, fuck. What's going on here? What are these Fs? Are we good? That's so weird. I wonder why this happens. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having all these disconnecting issues. Okay, well, I don't like this idea that somebody who commits a crime and gets out of jail for that crime should be treated as if they are right about to commit that crime again. If that's the case, why do we even have a trial? Why don't we, as soon as we find out that they're guilty of it, just take them out to the back of the courthouse and shoot them? Like, let's just end this whole process. Why are we wasting all of our time making people run around and pretend like, oh, well, you're part of society, but you're not at the same time? What the fuck? So he did his fucking time. He's out of jail. He's gonna move on with his fucking life, man.
Of this story, because at the end of the day, he told a story. Some of it's true, some of it's not. I don't know what to believe from his stuff, and I don't know what not to believe. Yeah. I found out stuff. I found out things watching his series. Like, dude, I was at the airport when I watched the part where he said Jake's had stolen.
Of course, I was like, what?
$6 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but I knew he was a
Jake is Crypto King, right? I don't remember his name. Yes, okay.
Bad actor, hence why we kicked him off the fucking team immediately when we found out he was only in it for the money.
Prerogatives, yeah. Things fucking fell apart.
Well, they found out that he was only in it for the money whenever he bought. The thing is, like, was it unethical for Crypto King to buy a bunch of the shares before it was released to the public, on like the stealth launch of the product? Yes, it was unethical for him to do that, but I would also argue that it was unethical to do a stealth launch as well. Like, I mean, really, like, and also, like, he wasn't able to buy as much. He felt like he was getting slighted. This is, again, I've said this 100 times. I'll say it 100 more times. Whenever you're doing things that you can't you're either doing something illegal or you're doing something that doesn't have legality involved to it, you have to make sure that everybody that you're dealing with is, like, 500% honest. And the moment that somebody acts in any sort of a sus way, immediately boot them out.
From Zach to trying to find new devs, realizing that our first lead dev couldn't perform, and then realizing that now there's an investigation going on.
But it's also you have to understand that it's not simple. I mean, he's trying to bridge the gap here between protecting his client, protecting a project that he's been a part of, getting out whatever information is possible. I've said this a million times. The internet loves to oversimplify very fucking complex issues.
On top of the complex issue that we dealt with, which were issues with people, the blockchain technology, and this is something that's brand new, and what Logan ideated in his head of a really cool idea is actually somewhat complex.
which is, by the way, hard for me to swallow.
Okay,
and I have a vision and an idea of these things, and then I say, Jeff, here's what I want to make. Here's what I want to do. And then people are put in place to attempt to make that happen. And when
he's using the argument that, like, basically because they were trying to do something that was so complex, they didn't understand it. And, of course, they fucked it up because it was really hard to understand. They didn't even know what it was, okay?
It was found out that either A, they had ill intent, or B, were incapable of doing it. And then shit really hit the fan. What do I do? What do I do?
I actually have an answer for that. When you're on the top rope at WWE and you're going like this after a crazy show and the audience is going crazy, when you're bringing Prime into the table and people are drinking it, being like, how the fuck is this product this good? When you're doing these absolute...
Have y'all ever drank that? Is it actually good or not? Like, real talk. Like, not like, oh, it's bad because, like... Yeah, is it good or it's all right? It's placebo, tastes like piss. I don't know. I'm just curious.
We're watching a superhero kill these side quests day after day after day after day. None of these quests would be completed without your team. And when you win, we celebrate together.
Right.
What I need this team to start doing is when you guys take a dip, you got to stop pointing the fingers at each other.
When all this broke, when we were in Qatar, I'll kind of remember this. We were in the spa one day, and I saw the pain in your, and this, like I said, this is not going to turn into a fucking victim thing. I just want to point this out. I saw this pain in your face, bro, and this like emptiness in your fucking eyes when all this was breaking. And I remember thinking to myself, having been through a couple things, very minor in comparison to the ones you've gone through and are going through now, where I was railroaded by the internet on something that just simply wasn't true. I've been through a chunk of shit in my life.
What was that? Like, I don't know if Mike had this. I don't remember even when people were pissed off. I don't remember people being mad. They dated a porn star? Yeah, no, yeah, but like, who gives a fuck about that? You had a baby with a porn star? Yeah, no, that's fine with me. Okay.
Life, but I honestly don't know if I recall feeling like that. The feeling of not being able to say, yo, this is not what happened. You guys have it wrong. Even though you and everyone around you knows that you're being fucked and being railroaded by an incomplete or unsubstantiated story is one of the most painful fucking things in the entire world.
As somebody who's had this happen, that is generally true. And I don't even think this is true if it's something that's bad. I think it's true in general, or something that's not true. Like if it's a lie. Like if you're getting railroaded by everybody on the internet for something that is true or untrue, it feels like shit. Of course it does. I mean, come on. It makes sense.
It's
terrible. Where Coffee fucked up is by targeting me as some malicious, evil supervillain. If he had told this story objectively, and told the story without vilifying me, regardless, we're still making this right.
I don't think that Logan Paul is necessarily a super evil, malicious supervillain. What I think he is he just thought that he would do this and he'd be able to make a lot of money with it. So he hired these guys that people said would be legitimate, and it turns out that they weren't. And they didn't make a lot of money. I don't think that he went into this with actual malicious intent. I just think that he went into it with his own intent as the primary goal. He's trying to make a lot of money with this, and that's the only... He's not trying to hurt people. He's just trying to make money. He was being a bit naive. You think I'm being naive by thinking that Logan Paul didn't know that everything was a scam? I think that him not selling, I don't think that he probably knew how much of the things were happening that were scams. And probably, I think one bit of evidence that Logan Paul and by the way, this does not exonerate him in any way. Like, I don't want anybody to think like, oh, Asmon's making excuses for Logan. No, I'm not. All I'm saying is that I think that he accidentally fucked people over in a lot more ways than he intentionally fucked people over. And what I think is evidence of him being pretty much incompetent with running this project is whenever Crypto King scammed him out of $6 million. Crypto King finessed him out of $6 million right off the bat. So it seems like probably he didn't know what he was getting himself into. He fucked up, but in saying that, the fundamental goal of the project was to finesse and fleece his viewers. That was the ultimate goal. He just did not plan on doing it in this way. You see what I'm saying? And also, it's his project. Like, nobody knows who Eddie Ibanez. Oh, I guess some people know who Eddie Ibanez is. Nobody knows who Crypto King is. Logan Paul is the big name on this project, and he's selling it. So if you're selling the project, you have to be at least somewhat accountable for it. It's not like this is a NordVPN sponsorship or that established title sponsorship where somebody's like, oh yeah, this is funny. They're going to give me 100K and I'll put this in a YouTube video and I never think about it again. You know, this is something that he is investing himself into in a big way.
Well, in my opinion, that's...
Yeah, like, what I'm saying is that I think that in a lot of cases, it was actually not maliciousness. It was negligence and incompetence. I think that Logan Paul was probably only 70% responsible, whereas the other 30 to 50% is the team.
Where it got twisted and hurt the most. Dude, I'm sitting in the seat solely because of my fans.
Yeah.
I love them. I'll take any picture you want, unless I'm at dinner. That's my one rule. I'll take any picture you want.
Now you better get your ass up. You better wipe your face and get up. That might be the rule.
I'll take any picture you want. I'll listen to the feedback. I'll see it. I want to put smiles on you guys' faces. It's why I do what I do. I love being able to come on these platforms and express myself every week. And it fucking hurts that mission statement that I've had since I was 8 fucking years old posting online was tainted by this dude who had an agenda.
Well, I mean, like, still, and somebody brought up the point that him doing this, the secret launch is evidence of him being malicious. I think that is true. And in no way, I understand that by adding nuance into this, some people might get confused and think that I am in any way, shape, or form, like, minimizing or exonerating or rationalizing what Logan Paul did. I'm not doing any of those things. All I'm trying to do is assume, based off of what the information that I see is, what was happening in his mind.
Who is normally very good at his job, had an agenda.
I think this is sadly the only direction you could take.
Yeah.
Take this really fucking hard on the chin. Learn from your mistakes. Learn that
someone said, again, basically he planned to fuck people over, but in another way. Yeah, exactly. This wasn't the way he planned on fucking people over.
I mean, George, we did.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like the Johnny Depp thing. Like, he had to kind of eat shit for a long time until the truth came out. And so right now you have to go into this either court, but regardless, the jury is the audience.
Yep.
And so I'm trying to bridge that way to show your reality. And your reality is the same dude that would turn to me and drop a $500,000 deal with somebody because he goes, I don't eat fast food. I'm not promoting fast food.
Well, I mean, let's be fair, right? If there's evidence that comes out that CoffeeZilla cut off Logan Paul's hand or his finger, then I think that we should have a trial for this, and maybe CoffeeZilla is actually defaming Logan Paul. Now, I don't think CoffeeZilla cut off Logan Paul's finger. I don't think that, he's drawing anything with the bleeding finger and blood. I don't think any of these things are happening. We'll have to see, but I'm not expecting it.
So if you were money hungry, you wouldn't give a fuck if it was hurting anybody. You would take the money.
No, he can't. Because if he completely took the money, it would be so obviously a scam that there would be no plausible deniability that it wasn't a scam. And also, it's like cutting down or like harvesting a fruit before it's ripe. Like, you don't want to do that because it doesn't taste as good, it's not as big, it's not ready yet. So, of course, he's not going to do it right now because it's not ready to do it.
It is shocking to me that motherfuckers think I'm out here in Puerto Rico with a cork board, tacks, string, graphic images, going, here's how we're gonna scam. This is how I'm gonna make my $1 million this time, motherfucker. We're gonna. I'm not even.
Sounds like a meat. It sounds like a meat. No, it sounds like a meat.
Logan Paul admits to everything Coffazilla said.
Bro, Jake, I was talking to Jake about this over Christmas break. I'm glad I got some time to spend with my brother. And he's like, I was like, are you aware of what's happening right now? And he goes, dude, I skipped past the video. He's like, I know you didn't fucking scam anyone. And I go, yeah, but like, everyone thinks I did.
Well, this is what I see, and I could be completely wrong. Biting off more than you chew is kind of almost there, but I don't see it being complete because you're doing things that people don't do. So I don't expect you to stop doing what your nature is to do, and you want to see that new country that's not there or build that thing that's not there. The only thing that would just make a tweak of a difference is you're so creative that you're like, here's the idea, here's the process, here's the vision. Now this person's gonna do this, person's gonna do this. I'm gonna move on, and you're a creative. So all I would say is now is just like those the dev team. Pick one person that is your right hand and make sure that person is every day. If this guy shits or eats a sandwich at lunch, I want to fucking know.
I mean, George, again, we did. It's part of the reason Originals worked so well. We found the guy, and he's fucking good. And we found a team that we can actually rely on to get things done.
Most important.
And then also that was a learning process for me because,
you know, this kind of reminds me of like what I said about making video games. And why I don't want to make a video game is because like I don't know anything about making video games. So I wouldn't be able to accurately assess like the project. I wouldn't be able to judge whether people are making decisions good or bad. I don't know anything about programming. I can't understand what their concerns are. I don't understand it at all. So you know what my solution was? I don't make a video game. I'm not making one because I don't know what I'm doing.
Originals is a relatively easy project. I think it's easy to understand anyways, right?
Yeah.
One picture
not
goes
easy build.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. One picture goes live a day. It's a 24-hour auction. The next goes up. This thing took months to build, and there were so many delays, and I was frustrated with the build. But
again.
As is always going to be the case,
sure,
Jeff, because I'm reporting directly to you, and you're reporting directly to me.
Of course. But
it was a learning for me in that. Fuck, dude, tech is hard. Holy fucking shit! I remember ESPN was down the one time we were trying to watch one of the biggest fights ever.
No,
what
tennis?
The
U.S. Open.
U.S. Open. ESPN was down. ESPN Plus or whatever the fuck. And Jeff goes, hey, just so you know, this is ESPN. It's one of the biggest content syndication organizations in the world. And they don't even have this shit down.
But we also, also don't know whether it was the tech that was sending it into ESPN or was it ESPN?
The point is tech is hard. Tech is hard. I realized that and learned that the hard way.
Then don't do it. Because, like, I agree with them. Like, I know, like, for example, like, whenever we try to do, like, big streams, we have audio issues. Remember whenever we did, like, that 1-year anniversary stream, and it had, like, that, like, weird fucking, like, flashing shit? Yeah, tech is hard. It's very hard. So don't fucking do it. Yeah, audio is the worst. It's like, yeah, we had that event. You remember, we never did another event after that. Because I said, guys, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We got to scale this down. Let's stop trying to do shit that we don't really understand. Because it didn't work.
And so, yeah, I guess to kind of answer your question, I'm a bit more, a lot more cognizant now of exactly how hard it is to make the stupid little visions that I have in my head come to life.
Okay, so wrapping this up. For at least, I think, right? For now. because I'm just curious what else is there's going to be about this, like where this goes, where the story goes once it's been determined that there was not malintent, a scam did not take place.
I don't think that you need malicious intent, because gross negligence, I think, is just as bad as malicious intent. Like, maybe it's not as bad morally, but the outcome, and I think that the way that it should be treated, is pretty much the same thing.
There was a misfire or some sort of, you know, malpractice on behalf of some of the people involved in the project who will be held accountable, and there is a plan moving forward. Does it sound like those are the four main pillars of what's happening here?
Exactly. I would say there's been a plan moving forward.
A roadmap.
Yeah. CoffeeZilla happened to make this series and in
the middle of it.
And now it appears reactionary, but this has been happening. So that's where the defamation piece comes into play, which is number 5.
Okay.
And 6. We've given Zilla part 4. He's probably going to milk the shit out of this. He's probably going to talk to more people who lost money. And that's where this also gets tricky, because I'm not sure what he's fabricating, or if people are genuine about what they're saying, because he doesn't verify backgrounds or, like I said, substantiate any evidence. So he's probably going to...
So what he's saying is that CoffeeZilla, the people that he brought on to, you know, say that these people lost money in CryptoZoo, he's saying that they're effectively paid actors, or they could be.
Put people who have lost here on a pillar and highlight them. That's what I would do if I were him. I'd milk the shit out of this, and like I said, he's probably going to. He's good. He's very good. But part 6 is the more he says, and the more he continues to spread this misinformation that this was any sort of con or scam, the more I have for the lawsuit that I am filing.
Okay, so Logan Paul is going to be filing a lawsuit for, I'm assuming, defamation, that it was not actually a scam. I don't think that... It's like, you've got to think, if, like, let's say you have a jury and the average age of that jury is 47. And you tell that jury, hey, I had this game I was making, and the game is where you hatch eggs, but you can't hatch the eggs. I think that that's kind of like a non-starter for it not being a scam. Like, anybody is going to look at this and be like, you know what? I think it's a fucking scam. Yeah, like, it's not even a question. You literally can't prove it's not a scam. I think that in order to prove that it was a scam, so what are the strongest bits of evidence that it actually was a scam? I think the strongest bits of evidence are the fact that they did a stealth launch so they could make money ahead of time and not tell people, not tell the public. I think also the fact that the game does not function in the way that it's intended. I think also that the art is not what Logan Paul originally promised, or what the intent of the promise was with it being handmade. Yes, that's true that the person that was hand making them technically did click the Photoshop, the layer combine button whenever they turned it into a JPEG from a PNG file in Photoshop. So it was technically handmade, but this is clearly deceptive. Let's see. Besides that, there's those 3 things. I think those are probably the 3 biggest bits of evidence that it is a scam. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like super fucking bad, but that's about it.
The defamation lawsuit, that is fucking happening.
And also, like, keep in mind, yeah, there's another good one that somebody mentioned in chat here, is that there was no game. At the end of the day, all these people donated money for a game, and the game does not work in the way that it was promised. I mean, fuck, that sounds like a scam.
This is wrong. This is fucking wrong. And there's a reason. There's a reason he won't come on this show. And he knows it's because he can't lie to me with his chest out while sitting in front of me.
Lied to me with his chest out was sitting in front of you. Okay. So. Oh, okay.
Saying that you are a scammer. You are.
Dog.
What about the people that say, like, why don't you just do it live on his platform?
I am not feeding into this anymore on his shit because he did not change the course of my direction at all. He happened to make this series. It's not changing what we have been doing and are doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What he did do is got me to speak about it. And I'm actually grateful for that.
I was about to say this is kind of like a good light because
I'm actually grateful for that. I do thank CoffeeZilla for shining a light on what even he highlighted and made in his year's worth of research in a 3-part series, is that this situation is so fucked, so beyond fucked. You could make an entire documentary out of it. In fact, he did.
Yeah, and I think that part is true. He is telling the truth whenever he says that indeed the entire situation is fucked. It is.
But now
That's
I'm
true.
in a place where I actually do have to thank him for shining light on this. He just messed up by pointing the finger 100% at me in saying that there was any sort of fraud or scam.
It's not 100% Logan's fault. He's right about that. It's like, 50, 80% his fault, but there are other people at fault too. So it's only mostly his fault. It's not completely his fault. So again, CoffeeZilla's lying again. Yeah, guys, see? Yeah.
I'm taking place intentionally. Not even taking place intentionally, just taking place on my behalf.
Why did you block him on Twitter?
It's like a little gnat. It's like a little fucking annoying gnat, and it bothers me. He won. He got to me, bro. He's the most formidable opponent I've had. I'm not kidding. The guy's good. He's
very smart.
He's very smart. He manipulates and twists the truth just the way he wants to get his people to believe a certain thing. He's good.
I think
it's marketing in a way, hiding behind the veil of, I don't make money off this platform. I'm doing God's work. I'm doing justice, by the way. Go sign up to my Patreon.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, everybody's making money. No, and you can have a discussion about how whenever you're running a watchdog channel, which CoffeeZilla does run to an extent, that how much of a watchdog channel turns into a hammer looking for nails. Absolutely. But that's not what we're talking about here. Sometimes there are nails.
Go join my Patreon. We're gonna see the behind the scenes of my $10 million studio. $10 million studio.
Mm-hmm.
You got $10 million? Where did that money come from? I don't think so, Al.
I think.
Well, the odds are that he's probably renting space or he's using shared space that he leases. And it could be a $10 million studio, but, I mean, he could just be leasing the space. Or it's a joke. Oh. Okay, well then, all right. Never mind then. I was trying to come up with a reason because I know that, like, like we've leased space before. Like, I get how that works, but okay, yeah, never mind.
I think he might be saying that sarcastically.
Or he rented it.
So you're saying you're saying he embellished or like rounded up?
No, I think he just says it sarcastically. It's like a joke.
It's in his descriptions on his Patreon, which I joined. He kicked me off though.
He refunded him.
It's actually funny. He said he kicked me off, and he had a couple zingers on Twitter. He kicked me off. It was like, who knows where that money came from?
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. You got washed. You've been getting washed.
He smoked me.
Washed on Twitter.
I'm telling you, he's fucked.
It was smart for him to subscribe to CoffeeZilla's Patreon because what he does is he releases his videos early on Patreon. So this would give Logan Paul lead time to preemptively discredit what CoffeeZilla will say. It was smart for Logan Paul to do that, but it was stupid for him to use his own email. He should have suspected that CoffeeZilla would notice that.
Also, he's a very formidable opponent.
Yes,
if
good.
I were him and I didn't like me in the same way that he doesn't like me, and also realizes how much he can gain from putting me in his thumbnail and his title, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Okay. Question, and just to bring this up because I think it's a good transition.
We know, Logan. That's the problem.
Regardless of how strong his point was, or some of the points he made, or how he was able to spin it, whatever you want to say, or whoever wants to say it, there is always and will always be an army that is ready for Logan Paul to make a minor mistake.
That is true. This part is true, that anything bad that Logan Paul says or does will be put under a microscope because he has said and done bad things in the past. That is true.
Now, it was so timely and convenient that the 3-part series dropped when you were already boiling in an unholy baptism of shit because of what you had said on the show before it.
Let me tell you something.
And so I want to change gears a little bit.
Okay, this is
Look at this guy.
And get ready.
And to quote Logan Paul, present thyself.
Because yes,
I want to.
well, you very
I
much.
feel like that's pretty good evidence of God, right? I mean, Logan Paul makes jokes about religion. Next thing you know, there's a 3-part fucking series talking about how he's a scammer. Everybody hates him now, okay? Like, that's, again, so that's some fucking real Old Testament, like, God is a motherfucking G. He doesn't get fucked with like that. He's not about to have it. So, yeah, there you fucking go. That's some divine intervention, yeah. Karma. Well, either way, I think this was a relatively decent defense by Logan Paul. I mean, it's obviously not believable by anybody with a brain, but I think that he did a okay job defending himself here. It could have gone a lot worse. Like, no, it wasn't. It was bad. No, I think that, so here's why I think that it was a relatively good defense. I think that it was a good defense because he effectively said, I'm so dumb. All I am is a visionary. It's not my fault. It's all of my team's fault. And we're actually working on things right now behind the scenes. There is almost nothing that he could have said that would have been better than that. And that's the point that I'm making. Like, yes, obviously it's bad that he's in this situation, but he skirted accountability. The SBF defense, exactly, right? But, like, at least SBF didn't go, like, Logan Paul didn't go on 50 different Twitter spaces fucking incriminating himself constantly. So, yeah, and sometimes it does work. I mean, we'll see if it works or not. We're going to have to find out. Taking accountability leads the project. No, leadership is 100%. Taking accountability whenever your team fucks up. Oh, yeah. No, but I think that there is a difference between responsibility and fault. Being a leader is you are responsible for what people do that fucks you, that like, you are responsible for your team's failures, even though that those things are not necessarily your fault, right? I mean, I think that's okay, and you can see, obviously, both sides of that. It's easy to say. And I do think that, yeah, Logan Paul did probably the best job that he possibly could defending himself here. I don't think that there's anything that he could have said that was different. I think that attacking, because you've got to remember, like, a lot of Logan Paul's audience are, the hyper clout awareness people. So the moment that Logan Paul says that, like, oh, CoffeeZilla's doing it for clout, and they see, like, a disparity between, like, Logan Paul's audience and CoffeeZilla's audience, they're going to immediately believe that and think Logan Paul's telling the truth. So, again, I'm not saying it didn't work on me, obviously, but I think that this is the best that you can get. But he's polishing a turd. That's all there is to it. He can't say anything that's going to absolve him because he did it. It's obviously bad. He's trying his best, but it doesn't matter how hard you try if you're in a situation like this. Yeah, putting lipstick on a pig. Yeah, trial needs to hurry up. I agree. Why does he keep saying Coffee's in the wrong, but then keep saying that he would do the same thing? Isn't that self-incriminating? Not showing that he's always capable of malicious intent, but more than willing to use it whenever he has the opportunity to. Yes, it is. I think that it's basically, it's the whole honest liar defense. And I do this all the time, too. So, like, yeah, sure. Right? Of course. Logan Paul is obviously he's opportunistic, he's smart, and I don't think that he really cares. I think that maybe on some level he cares about his audience, but I think that he cares about himself more than his audience. So it doesn't really matter if he cares about his audience or not whenever, his own best interests are in conflict of his audience. You just keep trying to get burned with NFT and crypto shit. At what point do we hold the investors accountable? Well, I think you can do both, right? I think anybody who invested in Logan Paul's project is a fucking idiot, and I don't care if they never get their money back, but I also think that Logan Paul's a piece of shit for doing it. So yeah, that's it. That's why I scams him multiple times. Yeah, there we go. So I'm neutral on these things. Watching people blow a gasket is hilarious. I mean, I would say that, like, if you're neutral on this subject after looking at all the information, being neutral doesn't make sense, and I don't think it's a logical position to have. It's not like an enlightened centrism position whenever all of the evidence presents one side of a story. Yeah, it's stupid. Like, I think it's totally fair to be neutral. And, like, multiple times I said, like, Logan Paul, this is a good defense. Like, he should be saying this. This is a smart thing for him to say. But that doesn't mean that he's not guilty. I'm just, grading the how good or bad the defense is. Is this good bullshit or is it bad bullshit? Well, this one's good bullshit. All right, that's not too bad. Nice try. Yeah, being neutral is a win for him, honestly. Yes, and by the way, what also this could be an attempt in is it could be an attempt to discredit CoffeeZilla and muddy the waters so much that it's impossible to assign blame. So it's basically like, it's a wash. Like, who knows who did anything wrong? It's like some weird thing. I don't know what happened. And, like, that is actually a W for Logan Paul. Like, anything other than a complete loss is a W. Do you think Logan is hoping his most loyal audience members will invest again into the project? Oh, they will. The thing is that you have to understand that people that it's harder to convince a person that they've been fooled than it is to fool them. All of the people that are invested into CryptoZoo at this point are probably going to hold their money. They're going to hold the amount that they have as much as they can. I think they actually can't even sell it. So, of course, they're going to hold. But they are probably going to be more positive about it now because, number one, that's the only choice that they have. And number two, the people are naive. These are the same people. I wish Logan would just come out and tell us all that it was a scam and just let us know. That way we don't have to hope for it anymore. They're just naive morons. So yes, absolutely. If he does another one of these, he will make money. What if they double down? Oh, they probably will. Because, like, a lot of this is, like, again, like, I don't want to get too far into this, but, like, I think that one of the biggest things with crypto people is that they think that they're smart and they think that they are, they're smarter than everybody else and they're able to, like, figure these things out and they're going to get rich by doing nothing because they're smarter than everybody else. So it plays into their intelligence to stick with it. So basically, if you do something that plays into the perceived intelligence of somebody, it is a very, very good grift. In general, telling stupid people that they're smart is extremely profitable. It is so profitable. You make more money doing that than almost anything else. Bro, he's going to jail someday? Probably not for this. There'll still be morons putting their money into CryptoZoo? Absolutely. People bought Donald Trump NFTs. They consider themselves intelligent outsiders? Yeah. Boom, one company fucks up and the crypto market drops by 80%. Oh, yeah. I mean, of course that can happen. So smart. Where's my money? I think that I'm probably smart at some things, not with others. It's the same with everybody else. Like, there's some people that are brilliant musicians. Look at fucking R. Kelly. The guy is a brilliant musician. He can't fucking read. Look at Floyd Mayweather. I think it's the same thing. Like, Floyd Mayweather can't read. He's one of the greatest boxers of all time. Like, I mean, there's plenty of people that are really good at, like, one thing, but they're stupid at something else. Never take somebody's competence or knowledge in one subject and attribute that to general intelligence. Do a show in crypto, make it clear that it has no value just for the memes and get our money. Yeah. What are you stupid at? I'm stupid at learning new things on stream. I have a really hard time learning new things on stream and being able to adapt to new things. It's something I struggle with a lot, especially with new games. Like, that's the first thing that came to mind. I'm sure there's other things too. I'm also not very good at writing or drawing. Let's see here. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, very fucking funny. Let me make sure that I look at a few more of these, and then I want to play some Valheim. But yeah, I just saw this came out, and people were like linking it to me, so I figured I'd watch it. I didn't expect to spend this much time on it, honestly. It's quite a while. Let's see here.